So I have been following Britney Spears since the start. To make a long story short, my older sister fell in love with the song Baby One More Time when it was released, and I began listening to her as well. I really followed Britney. Not only did we buy her records, but we used to collect all the articles we could find, or even buy magazines with her, and I sometimes even asked for tabloids hanging outside of stores. So I feel like I have a good perception of Britney's career, and with that also when things started going downhill for her. It has also been pretty obvious that Britney lost many fans, perhaps because she was marketed as a pop star aimed towards a younger audience, and most young people will change and grow out of the things they like, as some people say. I've never understood that. I still like most things I liked as a child, obviously, plus new things, but I can't go from loving to hating something. And I remember as early as the release of a Britney album that most kids in my school thought she wasn't cool anymore. So when things went truly bad for her, no one seemed to actually care. Most just found it amusing to read about. I remember the so-called slut-shaming she had to endure, how people called her nasty and gross for having more revealing outfits. And looking back, it's so silly if you compare her outfits with other contemporary young pop stars. Even back in the days, I feel like she got more shit than, for example, Christina Aguilera, which wore some pretty revealing outfits. And then, of course, when things went truly bad, her divorce, etc., people still didn't care. Papers wrote about the incidents of her being taken with an ambulance as her being insane and someone to laugh about. Her shaving her head also as something funny and absolutely something she did when she was out of her mind. Because why would a woman shave her head? I so wish that she would have worn her shaved head with pride instead of hiding behind wigs, showing all those people laughing at her that it was her choice. She wasn't crazy. Through all of this, barely no one talked. But now, all of a sudden, when media has changed, when they report it as something to feel bad about, everybody has changed their minds. Now, everyone feels bad for Britney. Everyone keeps saying she did not deserve this. Everyone keeps pleading to let her get control of her life again. Like puppets, everyone follows the stream. I remember all the bad things that went on, and all these people commenting on the situation are just repeating the same mantra. One thing that I found horrible at the time, which I haven't seen anyone comment on now, is the fact that the line in the song I Wanna Go, going, "There's a countdown waiting for me to erupt," was true. There actually used to be a web page where people would guess when Britney would die. I think that's just horrible, and I can't imagine what I would have done or felt if it was me. So I have to be honest, it pisses me off a bit how so many people who probably didn't care before now care. I'm glad for Britney that the awful behavior she had to endure now is brought to the light. But where were all of you advocates when all of this actually happened? Recently, I've been watching some of the commentary videos about Britney, and that is why I decided to make this video. Because seeing those and reading all comments revealing that there are so many people who weren't there for her 20 or even 10 years ago. This introduction became quite long, so let's get to the point. Many are now making Britney a saint all of a sudden, maybe to clean their own conscience, or it's simply because they don't know her history. Let me just get this out before I get into this deeper. I'm not saying she's a bad person. She's just that, a normal human being, and I don't expect her to act like a saint. I understand that she has bad days, that she gets tired, just like the rest of us, and I think that's what so many loved about her, that she was so normal. Her personality was just like any other teen girl. So I've seen many comments on how much she cares about her fans, etc., etc. And she probably does. Let's be real, it's because of us she became that huge. And I think it's probably very pleasing for an artist to be loved for what they do. But she's also done some not so nice things, and that is before the conservatorship. One example which made me pretty sad at the time was when she came to Sweden for her Oops tour. A music magazine she had been interviewed for previously had this competition, obviously together with her management, that a limited amount of people would win a ticket to her concert, including a meet and greet, and they would also be gifted a photograph she would sign for them. The issue of the magazine following the concert did not give pleasing reviews. It revealed that the people who won barely got to speak to her. She just showed up, left, and afterwards a staff member handed them a photograph with printed signatures. I remember the picture in the magazine, and the photos really looked like black and white photocopies. They reached out to the management and they apologized, saying they would send photos with real signatures. I get that it's stressful, and she's probably sick of meeting new people all the time who say the same things. But why even offer this if you're not going to do it properly? I also saw a funny comment here on YouTube saying something like how she released the album Circus so quickly after Blackout because she loves her fans. Those who know Britney's history know that's not really true. Circus was released as part of her contract she made when a teenager, and she wanted to get out of it, and therefore released albums very close to each other during that period. I'm not going to drag it out, but I also want to add that I don't support her singing playback either. And I found it amusing when people defend it, saying she does sing live, but with a track in the background, or that she's dancing. Well, I think that pretty much failed if you can hear the track more than her live vocals, all the time. And she is a singer first, so I would love to hear her live vocals rather than having her do a complex dance routine. And again, even when she doesn't dance, she still doesn't sing live. For me, that's one of the things which makes concerts so special. The thing which makes you feel connected to the artist, hearing them in that very moment. It usually also makes the songs more interesting. I love listening to live CDs because they are unique. Even if the vocals aren't perfect, it usually shows the artist's passion. This is not hate, but criticism, which many fans don't seem to be able to tell the difference from. Just because I'm a fan doesn't have to mean that I love every decision that she's making. Anyway, while talking about her live performances, I also believe that those are controlled and not really created by her anymore. There's such a huge difference comparing her old performance style to the one she has now. For example, her so-called costumes. Since Circus, she hasn't worn a proper stage costume. It's basically bras and panties, which I think is pretty sad because she used to have some pretty cool clothes on stage. And thinking that the men controlling her might be the ones deciding that makes me a bit sick. For those who don't know, there actually was an issue with the Work Bitch music video. Britney seemed to have opposed some of it, and it was initiated that she was made to wear some of the clothes against her will. Which also makes me remember the Britney for the Record documentary. The scene where they are recording the Womanizer music video. How her father and also her conservator is talking to her. If you don't know or remember, I would recommend you to look at that and tell me it's not creepy. Then another thing that I've become aware of recently is how people are hating on Britney's younger sister, Jamie Lynn. That she is silent makes her pro the conservatorship, and that she's also using Britney, etc. Obviously, I don't know any details. That probably their family only knows. But I think it's total BS when people say Britney and Jamie Lynn never had a good relationship. Because if you go back and look at the photos, videos, and interviews, Britney only has good to say about her younger sister. And you can tell that they at least were close. I remember watching a video, an award show, sort of. I think it was like the Mickey Mouse Club, celebrating Britney's career. And she was there in the audience with her sons and her mother. And to be honest, she didn't look that into it. But then by the final performance, Jamie Lynn did Till the World Ends. And Britney did not know this. And you can see how she just lit up when her younger sister appeared on stage. If you look on Jamie Lynn's Instagram, you can also see that Britney did appear from time to time in the past, probably until around 2019. I'm not saying that something might not have happened in recent years, but claiming that they never were close is just not true. I think it's pretty obvious Britney loves her sister. She included her in the Crossroads movie, and she co-wrote the Zoe 101 song, and they also made Chillin' With You on Britney's album Britney Jean. I don't remember exactly when, probably around 1 or 2 years ago, but Jamie Lynn did comment on the situation, saying that this is Britney's story, and she and other people should not be the ones narrating it. I also remember hearing or reading that people close to Britney have said that both her mother Lynn and her sister Jamie Lynn has been opposed to the conservatorship, but there aren't much they can do about it. It has been obvious that Britney herself is not allowed to speak out. My guess is that if she does, the conservators will make her lose the small amount of access to her sons that she has. I do believe the whole family isn't allowed legally to talk about it, and that is why they are silent, not because they don't care. I can say that I am skeptical of both her parents, but some people are making it seem like her mother is a stage mom, and I don't really think that she is. Britney herself has said that when they went to New York, when she was still a child, and she actually began to get more work, she told her mother she wanted to go back home, and they did. If she was pushing Britney, I don't think she would have done that. Let's be honest, we don't actually know what's going on behind closed doors. I'm really looking forward to the day when Britney can speak out. There are so many things I'm wondering about. What was her decisions, and what was others? What was she made to do and not do? I believe that day will come once her sons are of legal age, and they can't be taken away from her. Because that's pretty obvious. The one thing she really cares about are her sons. Hopefully, before that, she will get rid of the conservatorship, though. Having followed Britney from the start, having grown up with her, has, no matter how weird it might seem, but made her seem almost like a distant friend. So it has really hurt me seeing her having to go through all of this. How she still has enormous struggles that she should not have. I will end this video here, but I want to recommend people to listen to the Eat, Pray, Britney podcast. It's very informative and also funny. It really makes me go back in time and remember how things used to be. Especially new fans should check it out. Also, this book is called Britney and is made by James R. Blandford.